All right. Hello, good morning. My name is Austin Cloyd. I'm a business analyst at Odoo San Francisco, and today I'll be presenting on the subscriptions app. Okay, so the agenda for today will be discussing the value proposition of Odoo for managing your subscriptions. Then I'll do a demo, and afterwards, if we have time, we'll do a Q&A. So this subscription-based business model is ubiquitous in today's economy. Everybody interacts with subscription-based products on a day-to-day basis. Some examples, we have online video streaming, telecommunications, online news, online music streaming, even the physical goods space. You can have a subscription to have the same good delivered on a recurring basis. And one of the most famous subscription-based businesses today would be Odoo, where you can subscribe to excellent business applications. So Odoo's value proposition and why you should manage your subscriptions on Odoo. Number one, a reason you'll hear in every presentation is that all of your data is integrated. So in the case of subscriptions, you're linking directly to your CRM, to your customers. You're able to create the subscriptions from the quotation in the sales app, which will then generate invoices and payments on your accounting app. And it links to your website for your customer to have visibility to the customer portal. So it has time-saving benefits for your employees so they can focus on more meaningful customer engagement because you have automated recurring payments, and these will automatically create journal entries for the bank and also for the related income account. And you have automated status communication to your client, which brings us to the customer experience. The customer portal communicate everything to the client. It's directly available for them on the portal. So here, your client is able to change payment details and choose which credit card token the charge goes to. They're able to see their status, and they can communicate directly with the person in charge of their subscription to request any changes. All right, so now I'll go into a demo so we can see how this works in practice. I'm going to create a subscription, show the automated invoicing, show how you can do follow-ups based on the data that Odoo collects, and we'll look at the customer perspective. So this is really going to be focused on employee and customer engagement with these subscriptions. So let's switch over. And for today's demo, I'm Austin Cloyd. I'm an owner of a gym in San Francisco. And we're going to start the process in the sales app with a quotation. Okay, so we'll create a new customer. And we can choose from our different subscription products. This one is going to be a monthly gym membership. We'll save it and send to our client. And now we'll take a look at the customer perspective so they can confirm this membership with a signature online. When they give their signature, this is automatically going to confirm the subscription on the back end, and we will look at that. Okay, so back to the employee perspective. With the signature, we can now see that we have a generated subscription linked directly to that quotation. And from here, it's linked to Megan. It'll say the date of the next invoice. This is going to be automatically generated on a scheduler that runs, and we'll check any subscription that has the next invoice date that is passed. It will create that invoice. In this case, we'll do it manually. our invoice. Also on here, we're going to pay special attention to the chatter. So here we have an activity for the person managing the subscription to schedule a physical evaluation. So this person knows that that's what they have to do. It will also appear in their to-do list. And they're going to send a message to the client to schedule this evaluation. So here they'll choose the related email template for a physical consultation, send it to the client, and mark that task as done. Okay, so the driving force behind this is the alerts, which have been improved a lot in version 13. So if we go to our alerts, I'm going to create a new one. You can generate actions based on different data coming from the subscription. So in this example, let's say we want to do a customer satisfaction email. And we're going to send it whenever one of our satisfaction rating emails receives a low score. So anything less than 50%, we'll send a new email to get more information and see how we can fix this dissatisfaction. So here we set our condition, and down here we'll set the action that we want to complete. So in this case, it would be send an email to the customer, and we will choose to collect more feedback and get their opinion. Other use cases, you could also do this based on MRR changes. So if you see the recurring revenue on a subscription drop based on a percentage, so if it drops 30%, then we want to send an email and see how we can make things better and get their business back. You can also do this on a fixed amount. Say whenever it drops more than $300, we want to send this email. Or also new in version 13, we could send a SMS text message. So another alert I've already created beforehand is just based on a stage change of subscription, and it's going to create an activity for an employee to try to upsell this client on a monthly massage subscription. So if we go back to our subscriptions and we'll open one for Jesse James, we can see that here there's no activity. By the time of changing the stage to upsell, this activity is created for whichever employee it's assigned to, and they know that they need to try to upsell this client. So now we use the upsell feature, and we'll add the massage product. And just in case, we'll try to throw in the monthly towel service and see if they want that. This will generate a new quotation where the process will start again, where you send it to your client and they can approve or disapprove. Okay, so at this point, I'm actually going to switch perspective to the customer, and we can look at the online portal. Here I'm signed in as Jesse James. He has visibility to all of his past quotations, past sales orders, invoices, payments, and subscriptions. So in this new quotation, he can respond and say, massage, yes, towels, no. Send. And then his salesperson will receive an email alert and know to remove the towels and confirm the deep tissue massage. So confirming this upsell quotation, you'll see that it has now been added to the monthly subscription. So just to revisit the portal a bit more to see the other functionality, if he goes back to his account, and goes into the subscription. You can see he has many subscriptions for everybody in the family. And he can see the status, choose a different payment method, again, message his representative, and there's full visibility here for your client. Okay, so now we've looked at the customer engagement and the employee engagement. So let's look at some of the settings. And we'll go into the subscription templates. So the one that we were working on is a monthly subscription. And here you can see your options. We set this to be invoiced automatically every month for 12 months, at which point it would need to be renewed. You also have the option to charge the client automatically and create the invoice when it's charged, or only create the invoice when the payment goes through. And we have this feature that's been improved slightly in version 13, which is the health check, which is just a way of indicating different conditions to know how the subscription is doing based on MR changes, satisfaction, et cetera, any of the conditions. So we'll look at one more feature using the yearly subscription. So this one's just set to invoice once a year. And I'd like to demonstrate this just to show how it feeds into accounting for the deferred revenue. So if we create a new quotation, this time we will add our annual gym membership. And they have a discount for doing a year. We're going to confirm and create the invoice. So here you can see it's going into a deferred revenue account rather directly to the membership sales account. And this is so that you only recognize that revenue on a monthly basis when you've actually given the service to your client. So when we post this, you'll see that it's going to generate a deferred revenue that we can link to. This has been reworked in version 3 quite a bit, but I'm not going to go into detail. It's more for an accounting presentation. But I will show you that it creates all these draft entries. And as you can see, you'll be recognizing the revenue at the date you actually provide the service to your client. Okay, so new features in V13. There's really not too much that's changed in subscriptions. There's a lot of UX improvements in just design and layout. You have improved onboarding, so there's tooltips to help you teach your employees how to use the subscriptions app. And then the alerts, you have more options for domain and conditions. And then feeding into the deferred revenue, there are some advancements in the deferred revenue that are useful. In summary, Odoo subscriptions will help you save time and focus on more important priorities. It'll automate your accounting entries and create a seamless customer experience. Okay, thank you for your time. Does anybody have any questions?
You mentioned that product you can also put on a subscription. So I wonder if you have a product which is a make to order, would the PO be created when the subscription is renewed?
For physical goods?
Physical goods, yeah.
Not out of the box, but you could set that up, yes,
How?
with the routes. That'd be more detailed. Do you want to look? We can look at it afterwards if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, on a similar vein, we have a software package that runs some of our equipment that's at a customer site, and that has a subscription that's associated with it to keep all the features. And they may want to add feature sets and automation kind of dynamically. Is that something that Odoo out of the box can do, where if they choose some other feature sets on their quote, that it can actuate those on like their instance that's there, if there is some communication between the locality and Odoo?
Just adding new features for as an upselling feature, or what?
It would be like, for example, if they want to have another kind of temperature control view, and it's $1 a month more, or whatever it ends up being, but that they could choose that on their list of options, and then that would give them that option to be able to see that right on the app that communicates. Is there basically something that outputs so that another program can see that someone bought an option in some capacity?
Right. You'd have visibility to see, they can add new services. I'm not sure if you're asking if they would actually push it to their software.
Yes, it would. Would it?
But what software, from your software to them?
Yeah, because this is all conceptual right now. It doesn't exist today. So, our thoughts is that there would be some way that it would be able to look at, what options someone had chosen inside Odoo, and then configure itself knowing that, and then if someone added another one, that it would be ready to, turn that on.
Okay. Conceptually, yes, but it would need development to connect with your software.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Thank you.
So we do something that's a little bit different than this. We manage subscriptions for a large medical facility, what is in print for the doctor's offices, but also for their medical journals or Harvard Business Review or whatever for their practitioners. So we're selling whatever is in print that is requested or electronic. So we would have to set up a separate template, I guess, for every subscription we sell, and then manage it on an annual basis?
Not necessarily. So the template would just be, the template's really driving how often you want to invoice it, and then you apply that subscription to different products. So I think in your case, each magazine would be a different product, and you would just apply the same subscription template to each one.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Questions?
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Good afternoon, guys. Hope you're having a breezy morning in San Francisco today. So today we are going to talk about machine learning with the ERPs, how you can adopt it. So we are not talking about any of the rocket science. We're just talking about that, okay, how you can have a 30% growth from your top lines. I'm not talking about have a growth, talk about push your sales, how you can increase your things. It's just something, whatever you are using, how you can increase the 30% growth from the top line itself. And it's just out there with you in your silos. Is that out there available? You just need to utilize it. How you can utilize it? What are the different aspects you can do it? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Like what are the different challenges that people face? What are the things that we can optimize? And how we can do all those things. So just to give you some brief about, like my name is Maharshi Pancholi. I'm a part of a Brainwire Infotech. I'm a business analyst there. So I come from a good technological background. So I'm statisticians come computer engineering guy, providing a techno-functional things, help machine learnings and artificial intelligence to multiple SMEs and Fortune 500 companies as well. It's just about like how we adopt the different technologies to make out the growth stories out there. First, we talk about that, okay, like everybody of us uses different software suites. Either talk about CRM, ERPs, e-commerce, whatever we have. What we have is we have thousands of data available out there. If you talk about payrolls, if you talk about sales orders, if you talk about CRM, leads, opportunities, logistics, warehouse, you have silos available. But do you utilize it? No. It's just something you enter, you type the information, you take out the reports, that's it. Month end does, nothing else you do it. So that's what we talk about, like what to do with those kind of silos. Do we need to utilize it somewhere? And if yes, then how we can utilize those things. So we're going to talk about like different modules, different activities of your industries, and we can touch base that, okay, what's going to take about it. So let's say talk about simple employee expenses. How we can talk about like I'm tracking down the employee expenses and how we can utilize those things, and next time how to provide more grants out there. So first of all, we're going to talk about, are we using a smart ERP or are we using a dumb ERP exactly? So how many of you feel that, okay, you are using a smart ERP? Oh, wow. Cool. I'll just give you an example. So what you do is, like, let's say I'm going for purchasing one product. It's called Corner Desk Black. And I'm going with the one vendor, it's Wood Corner. So on the one specific day, let's say 4th of October, I'm going to purchase out of $5, like one product. Next day, or the same day, I'm going to make out another PO out there. And I'm going to order 3 quantities and at $50. And still, it does allow. Wow. If it is allowed, then your CEO is awesome. Because that's like you purchase something on $5 and again you are making a purchase on $50. There has to be something. There has to be utilizations. How any ERP can allow such kind of things? How any business can allow? Do you think any of your business allow this? Any of your businesses, like any of your purchase officers or something will allow this? No, because if it is, like they will kick our ass. That, okay, why you are making a purchase like that? So it's just a simple things that, okay, why too the ERP cannot come back and they can say that, okay, you make out a purchase last time, the same product at $5. This was your min-max, this is your inventory, this is what's like your on-hand quantity as well. So why we cannot utilize those data out there which is available? And just to pop up, just to make out a workflows out there, just that, okay, you purchase something, if there is a difference of a 10%, 20% of variations, go to managers, go to approvals, those kind of things need to approve. Like, is this a machine learning? No. This is a common sense out there. So we just talk about first about a common sense that we can utilize it. So such kind of things are many, those are available, which the datas are there, which we are using for our day-to-day businesses, but still we don't opt for it, like why you should not have it. Those are the few things that, okay, how the exact machine learning, that's the rocket science that we are talking about. So how we can help with the making out the right choices, preventing damages, better inventory management, better the sales cycles, and managing of organizing and preparing for the futures as well. It's all about predicting, right? So first talk about, when we talk first things, first is about identifying the outlier. So all the data that you have, we talked about expense management. So let's say I did 10 trips to Las Vegas. On 9 trips, I made out like $2,000. That's why my expense. In one trip, I make out $5,000. So that was an outlier. So your ERP, your system should be able to recognize such kind of things. That okay, this is something that is going as an odd, and pick those odds and showcase it, highlight it. So at least people would be aware about it, that okay, this is outliers and this needs to be taken care of it. Then we have the voice for the new ERP. Everybody is going with the different kind of things. Like first was a computer, then it was a mobile, then we talk about watches, and now it is a voice. How cool is that? Let's say I'm a CEO of a company, and if I wanted to know that, okay, what was my today's sales? Do I need to log into an ERP and I need to get out my reports? No, because even if I have CEO, I do have 200 people, I will not remember my ERP password as well. So it's just something, I will have my Alexa, I'll have my Google Homes, and I'll just say that, okay, hey, what was my today's sales? And it gives me output. That's cool, right? You don't need to worry about anything else. Or nowadays it's more something that, okay, in our device, in Android device, we have a Google Assistants, we have a Siri. So now it's a more assistives, even though you don't need those kind of devices as well. And there is a predictions that, okay, by 2022, like all the houses majorly into US will be a Amazon Alexa, or it will be a Google Home enabled. So even I'm at home, so then we'll be able to take care that, okay, I don't need a laptop, I don't need a computer, I don't need a mobile. I just say that, okay, what was my today's inventory? How much what was the output of my manufacturing? So those are just you take care and you get all the dates. So you talk about timesheets, you talk about project management, and anything that you talk, you can manage it from it. And it's just that's something that it's a voice command. So you don't need a reports, you need a KPIs. KPI means that, okay, what was my today's expenses? What was how many people come to my office today? So all such kind of brief informations that we need out. Then, how we can use for the sales and CRM, which is one of the major, any of the business module out it. Every company need this. So what we talk about, how we can have a best sales tactics, what works and what does not work. That makes sense. I'm making 10 different calls to a customers. I'm making 10 calls to Los Angeles customers, but it does not work. And I'm making 2 calls to New York customers, and that works. So those kind of information is useful for any of your sales and marketing team out there. Then we have operation assistance. So if I'm a sales guy, then my ERP or my CRM should not be a roadblock for me, but it should be assistant to me. Everybody, any of the new company who is adopting a CRM, one of the major pain point is, will my sales guy gonna use it? No, because it's a major pain point for them. And now their things are going to track back. That's okay, which are how many calls you made, how many emails you made. But now we are going to an industry where salespeople exactly use those CRM. Why? Because we provide more insights to it. We provide them, okay, we remind them that you need to do these activities. We remind them that, okay, you have follow-ups to do. We automate them that, okay, we have you send an email, 2 days happened, nothing responses, go for it. Let's make out another thing. Then we talk about account classifications. How you classify different accounts, we'll be going towards it, that what are the different algorithms, what are the different tactics you can use for the classification purposes. Customer satisfactions, that we talk about, individual proposals identifications, and cross-sells, how we can make out a cross-sells out there. So one of the major things that's happen is, when you have an e-commerce business, when you talk about, let's say, if anybody comes to your websites and he puts out the products to your cart and he goes back, what happens next? Nothing happens right now. But that is your much prospects lead out there. So you need to, there is a more targeted lead. They are interested in a product. They know your brand. They know your products. So it is why you not to worry about it. So whenever there is abandoned cart, so let's connect to our CRM. Let's connect a lead. Let's connect an opportunity for the abandoned carts. And then it goes to a salesperson. Even though better one is, whenever there is an opportunity, let's create for the, like, after 4 hours, let's send us discounts to them. 5% discount for your card that you have. Still not purchased, after 12 hours, 10% discount. After 24 hours, assign to your sales team. That's what the simple is. And again, this is a machine learning? No, it's not a machine learning. It's a common sense. It's a normal utilization of ERPs, how you can utilize the data, how you can connect with the other things, and how you can have a better things out there. Now we are going to talk about a machine learnings. So what are the different things you can, till now, whatever we have covered, it was just about like how we can utilize the software suites in a best possible manner. So first is price optimizations via linear regression model. So I will not going to do like, okay, what is the linear regressions and everything, because I know that's not the technical that's we need. So what we are talking over here is sales versus MRP. So if you think that, okay, if your MRP is low and sales is high, then you might be wrong at certain times. So it's many times it's possible. If you increase your MRP, your sales can also be higher as well. So those you talk about, those are the like keys. It's your sales predictions, it's your MRP, those are the sales, and then you mark out that, okay, what is your specific line of actions? What is the MRP increment or MRP decrement that you're doing, which is making a significant points to your sales out there. So that you can define what is the range out there, what you need to do as a next, what you need to talk about it. So that's how you implement a price optimizations, what product price you need to identify, what should be the best increment or decrement that you can adopt for it. Then we have a sales predictions, which is the very useful things out there. Everybody needs it. That, okay, if I'm a salesperson, I'm a business person, I'm a sales manager, then I need that, okay, what kind of a predictions that we are talking about, where we are heading towards. So everybody, right now, our all ERPs, what they can achieve is, whatever the sales you have made out, you can see that reports that, okay, this day at this many sales, this day is this many sales. But what about futures? How you take about your funnels? You know, you have a funnels, like in, you have a 10 opportunities with a 75% ratio probabilities out there. Let's make out a predictions out of it. Let's make the machine work for you. That you can utilize, and then you can make out predictions that's, okay, what is the sales is happening. Then we talk about the customer segmentations. So we talk about RFM. So RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary values. So whenever you have a customer, segment it. So let's say if your customers, how many are high spenders, mid spenders, risk churns, and low spenders. So this will be critical information for your business out there, because right now it's all your customers. There is no differentiations out there. So let's make out that, okay, when they make out a last purchase, how many number of purchases they did, and what is the net revenue they come to the company out it. And then you can segment and you can assign the teams out of it. I know we are talking more about sales and sales because that is one of the growth stories that we talk about. That's like one of the major pain points out of that. This is one of the other customer segmentations that we talk about. What is the customer value and what is the potential value? If customer is happy, customer is not happy. But if customer is happy and if it is making a loss to my business, that is not a good customer journey out there. We wanted to make sure customer is happy and he's making a more business to my company as well. So that's how we segment. So first is light. So like how many, like 440 days they make out of one purchase, and this is a per purchase dollar revenues that I get it. Then if there is a new customers, every new customers, what are the revenues that they come up, and how many number of customers are, how many customers are disengaged, and how many customers are stars. Stars means they're coming up with the more revenues and they keep purchasing more and their satisfaction level is also higher at them. So how this helps is, it can help you to organize your funnels. Then we talk about predicting the next purchase date. We have all the customers' data. like when they make out a purchases, when they make out a last significant things, when they come to my e-commerce websites, when they have opportunities, when my salesperson's made out a last call to them. So all the data that you have, with that, you can utilize like what would be your next purchase days. So what you can have is that, okay, you have a historical customer lifetime value. You make out a predictions that, okay, normally according to this customer segmentations where he lies, the classifications he is in, and accordingly this is the next purchase date. And you can also predict the customer's lifetime value as well. That, okay, this year, what will be the customer lifetime value also. So those will be important informations for you and overall for your business as a sales manager or a sales executives as well. This is a customer churn. So every business does needs this. Like your customers are going away, they are churning out. So how to make sure that, okay, if they are not churning, so what kind of information that we need to put out? Like how many service calls? So generally, everybody of us, like I'm either using a Odoo or not using Odoo or any ERP ticketing systems or anything. So you have like number of service calls that they make. So you can identify that, okay, if customer is making a 2 service calls, means he's now churning out. Customer is making 5 service calls, what is the probability that, okay, he will go away? So that kind of information is useful. Plus with that, information is useful in terms of that, okay, which customer segment will go out as well. Like from where they comes in and where they goes out. So this is like, okay, like what is the number of service calls they made out and what is the churn probability. So in that we use a algorithm called logistic regressions, and that's we can adopt such kind of things. Another one is lead scoring. We talk about, like in the keynote also, we did that, okay, now the lead scoring happens automatically. So it's not only about lead scoring, it's also about classification of your customers as well. Sometimes one business value, let's say if you are into B2B business and your customer is about like $10 million of worth of customers. So then you need to provide a higher lead scoring to them. Then you provide the better services. Then you provide a different kind of a personalization touch to them. So those informations that you need to take care. So you need to bifurcate those customers onto a different variables, and from there you can take it up that, okay, where they should stand for and whom they can assign to. So that's a K-min classifications that we can do. So if you can think of that, okay, like whatever we are talking about, it's not thing that, okay, we need to do any kind of a manual processes. It's just something we need to adopt, plug and play things, and then your ERP itself will be able to provide such kind of a output for you. It's all data is available out there. You're just using those data to get this output for you. Then one of the point is customer 360 value. So everybody is talking about 360. Everybody is talking about we need to get a complete overview of it. So what we can do is, so one of the important KPIs is when they make out the first purchase, when they make out a last purchase, what is the customer lifetime value, how much total revenues they have made out, how many products they have purchased, and what is the average revenue that we are making out. Plus with that, if you are connected with your e-commerce, if you are connected with your website, or anywhere else as well, you need to log it that, okay, how many times he has visited your website, how many times they have visited your e-commerce. Then how many tickets are open, how many cases are there, high priorities, medium priorities, and low priorities. When you are making a next call, so you'll be able to understand that, okay, I'm going to get abuses from my customers, or it will be a happy face of my customers. So I can make out my sales plan for him. So that's we can define it. Then we have all this data that, okay, last 10 product purchases, what was the orders, what was the order values and other things. We have his wish list. We have his, like, what are the products they have browsed towards it. We have that, okay, what is the abandoned cart. We can utilize all this kind of a data and we can have a next action plan. Because consider a fact, I have added my product into a wish list and it is also an abandoned cart. So it's a 90% of probability that person is going to make out a purchase of that. So that's kind of a value propositions that you are providing to your team. And that's how we are making a next level of CRM or next level of sales people that, okay, they can utilize it and they can make out a better sales. These are the more informations about like when they make out a purchases, when what's happening. So one of the important is many times like we make out a sales. that, okay, I have made our sales and then I need to 10 times call him. So there is no benefit to the customer, no benefit to the company. So we need to make sure that, okay, if I'm making a sales, it has to be profitable to company. Next one is how many calls I'm making, and then it gets converted to a sales. So, and what is the trend analysis? Sometimes many customers only purchase in December. Sometimes many customers purchase into only a fall. So we need to capture those data, and accordingly we can plan that, okay, next time when I need to call them. Sometimes customers say that, okay, if you make a 10 emails, 5 calls, and then only the closing will happen. So those information if you already have, so you are prepared that, okay, you need to at least make out a 10 calls and 5 emails to get it done. This is something that we talk about sales and CRM. This is something into manufacturing and procurement. So how we can utilize? So we can use a predictive analysis for the raw materials. How we can implement that, okay, based on all your manufacturing and sales data, we can define that, okay, what raw materials you need. You can have a better supply chains, and we can have a forecasting for the demands as well. Assembly lines plannings, we have a configure price quotations, and the vendor selection. Vendor selection is one of the important things. You have your tickets, you have your orders, you have your warranties. So all this data you can capture together, and you can select a better vendors. Next time, which vendors to go? Because every time, like if there is a 5% of change price of between different vendors, and still we are choosing it. But there other things also depends as well. So this is a bottleneck of assets. This is a very standard scenario for any of the companies. You have 5 different assets, you have a different suppliers, and out of that, 2 assets are depend on the other assets as well. And you have a mixed match of suppliers also. So in this case, you need to talk about predictive maintenance, you need to talk about yield throughputs, and supply chain dynamics optimizations. Because when we talk about, okay, I want asset 4, how we can make out a better supply chain solutions so my asset 4 does not go to any time of a low stock, and my suppliers are providing in a better way. This is something about soft tickets. We like our major business, like our customer supports and our ticketing systems. So we have an automated priority of tickets. Anytime tickets generated, it gets assigned that, okay, it is high priority, low priority is what it is. And another major is sentiment analysis. Whatever they have written into their email body or the tickets, we can understand that, okay, what kind of reactions they are, what kind of a mindset they are. They are very angry, or they are like into a light mode. Accordingly, you can set out tickets, and you can assign the people as well. Then you can that, okay, which peoples are available, you can assign the support tickets and other things. We have like chatbot solutions, so that, okay, it can integrate with your sales, it can integrate to your tickets, and can automatically provide output to them. This is just something I wanted to give, like there was a company called ROMANOFF. So it is a Long Island, New York-based company. So they were using around like 30 years old system, 25 years old system, but still intelligent systems. So still they were providing, catching all data and everything. And we have transformed them a new systems with the Odoo ERP and everything. And we provided lots of insights. So they have around like 15 odd sales people out there. We implemented them with the Odoo ERP and all this machine learning tactics inside it. And from where we can get it out that, okay, what kind of utilizations we can do, and what kind of a better insights we provide. So 25 years old systems to a new system, data capturing, and still providing insights to them. So that's what we have captured. And this is about our company. This is like where we work at a Brainwire. And we have our Odoo department head as well, Chirag. So like we all together, we are able to capture the things. We were able to serve in this ways. So yep, that's from our end. Thank you so much for listening. Any questions?
Hi.
Hey.
Regarding the predictive analysis for raw materials, how much data do you need for sales and purchase? How back behind do you need data?
So it's about like what is the probability. So if you have around like 4 to 6 months of data, you can reach to 80 to 85% of accuracy. The more data you have, the more better accuracy is, but around 4 to 6 months is needed.
And what happens in a scenario, let's say you have a big customer, and then in the second, the customer is no longer with you? So the probability.
So yeah, so if those customers are not with us, but still their history is with us, so we can understand, okay, what kind of a customer journey we had, and that helps to classify the other customers. So let's say if you have a one B2B customers, that's going to similar to act other B2B customer as well. So that one data can help you to identify the other B customers data as well. Yeah.
So I saw you had the sentiment analysis feature tied to the ticketing system.
Ticketing system.
Are you looking at implementing that in other areas in Odoo where you get customer feedback on the portal on sales orders, invoices, something like that, to maybe assist with predictive analysis for leads with particular?
Definitely. So one of the better ways, like whenever we are making an orders, then automatic like feedback form should go, and then we capture that, okay, like what was their experience and everything, and from there we can get a sentiment. But the ticketing was something where we get a more customer exact feedback, and it is more useful that, okay, if it is a high priority ticket, medium priority tickets, or low priority tickets, because many times like from the wordings I'm not able to understand that, okay, I need to take out a high or low, but from sentimental I can get a more better insights inside it. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, we're on. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming along and joining in. Really appreciate it. Got a lot to share with you in a short space of time about the challenges and our solution of delivering smart inventory. We call it AI-based, but it makes use of a number of technologies to get to the right answer and the right effect. I stand between you and lunch, so I'm going to try and stick to this timing here, because if I don't, things are going to get ugly, I expect. We've put a lot of effort in. I'm hoping that some of my colleagues from Novobi are going to be joining me shortly so that they can support any Q&A, but I'll do my best to handle any of those as well. We've been a partner with Odoo for some years. We're a software development as well as implementation organization, so we have deep technology roots. Okay, so let's get down to it. IHL does a lot of research on this. They did a survey last year on what sales are lost because the right inventory is not on hand in retail. So anybody in this audience, some of you may have read this survey, but anybody in this audience know what that number is? Anyone care to take a guess? Who's brave enough to take a guess? No? How much? $1 billion? Any other takers? Okay. So multiply that by 1,000. Okay. Now it's interesting because when I looked at that number, I inhaled, and then I wondered what they were inhaling when they came up with that number. But it's interesting. Let's break it down a little bit because it's a global number. And within that, you start narrowing it down to, how much of this is what's on the shelves versus what's systemically going on behind that, and that has to do with staff training and all kinds of other factors. So the area we're looking at, North America, is really a mere $47 billion. So this is a big problem. And it's interesting because this is what's not on the shelves when the customer wants it. There's another part to this, which is what is on the shelves is clearly crowding out what should be there. So this is a big, big area. And it's not like we haven't known about this for quite a while. There are products, solutions, technology services out there that try and address this problem. And some of them do it more successfully and some of it less. But it's a tough problem. And it's a tough data problem, a tough systems problem, and it's a tough analytics problem as well. And that's why it's still with us. So we've been working on a solution to this. We've been at it for several years. And we're now rolling it out, and it's based on Odoo. And the whole premise behind it is you can actually make more sales of less inventory. That's usually a nice message to deliver to your customers and prospects. And not giving away any secrets here, but at a very high level, we're making use of all the data in Odoo, clearly. There's room to make use of data that's outside Odoo, but we'll focus on that. And we automate this whole process. So we automate the process seamlessly of pulling the data from Odoo and doing analysis on it and getting it into shape for downstream processing. And once we've done the work, and we'll take a look at product classification, we'll take a look at the demand forecasts, what does that look like, and then we push it back and push the results back into Odoo, and you'll see it's all very tightly integrated, which makes it a highly productive solution that's ready to go out of the box. From a business flow overview, because I'm going to try and demo parts of this very quickly to you. I can't demo all of it today, not enough time. We've got this automated process of classifying products, based on their demand characteristics, based on what we call service level, which is how much they use and how much money they tie up. We produce demand forecasts. We go and create overstock and understock analyses. There's a purchase planning process here which lets you rapidly generate purchase orders and also share them with other people and feed that back into the Odoo system. So you're going to see all of this. We're going to go through it pretty quickly. So key features, you'll see forecast and inventory analysis embedded within product views that also show you what else is going on with Odoo, the product history, and so on. We optimize based on both forecasts and on computed service levels, and you'll see that. And you'll see the purchase plan functionality that supports faster and easier and better procurement decisions, and how we provide visibility to you on that. So we're going to head into this demo. A lot of pieces to it. I'm going to run through it and cover these bullet points as we go along. So let me get out of that, and hopefully we can get over to Odoo. Let's see if we can get this bigger on the screen. Only a few windows open in Chrome. None of you ever do this, right? Okay, so here we are. We're logged in. We click on inventory. The usual screen. In here, now, what I want to show you is under the menu entries here, under operations, you'll see here and there we've added. So there's an item here called, let's make sure it's right. So that's reordering rules combined with the forecasting. There's a standard Odoo reordering rules functionality that we make use of as well. We build onto that. And then under master data, there's the top three are classic standard Odoo functionality, and then we've added what we call demand types, service levels, and forecast groups. And all of that is critical to distinguishing between different kinds of products or SKUs that are in your inventory so that we can apply the right kind of analytics to them, the right kind of reporting and processing. And then under reporting, you'll see there's the whole smart inventory subsection here, and we'll walk through these four: understock and overstock reporting, inventory dashboard, forecast review, inventory, and investment reporting, so you can understand what's going on. So there are a few other things, but it's all very tightly integrated into Odoo, built on top of it. So let's start with this dashboard here, because it's intended to be, for those who want it, an operational starting point every day or a few hours to go check on what's going on with the main KPIs. And it's split, if you like, two things on the left, one of which is your items where you're understocked. So that's where you're going to lose sales. Your items where you've probably got things sitting in inventory that you wish you'd never had. And then on the right, you've got really a snapshot of the status of, in total, what you've got in inventory and what you've got on order. And then we'll come back to purchase plans. We can click on that. But you could look at the most heavily used stock items, and we show you here the top few, but you click on here and you get to see a bigger view. And you could drill down from there if you want to. But the whole idea here is that you get the main KPIs. There are obviously lots of potential KPIs with inventory, but you see the main ones here, and it helps you to keep an eye on things. And you could navigate from here to the areas where you need to actually do some work. So that's the idea behind the dashboard. Then from there, we're going to go over to, actually what we do is under the master data, we're going to go over to the product variety, product variants, which you're used to. And within that, let's narrow down the field here for demo purposes. And we've got a few items here, and you'll see that we've got some that are, we call demo under, where we're understocked, we're in danger of being out of stock. We've got some items here which we've called insufficient. And what we mean by insufficient is insufficient data. And that's the question that always comes up, is how much data do you need to make something like this work? Well, we want to take that pain off your hands and just recognize that's a reality of everybody's data. It's insufficient because it's new product. It's insufficient because the record keeping isn't what it should be. There's a whole range of reasons. But we, again, our system identifies that and doesn't try and apply algorithms that should never go anywhere near that data. And then we have some normal, call it products within the normal inventory range that you've set, and then ones where we're overstocked. So if we take a look at something where maybe we're overstocked right now, so this is one of those units. I don't know why we're getting a small screen, but hopefully you can see enough here. So you can see here that we're 78 days overstocked, supposedly based on past orders and so on. And we can see here that we have on the left-hand side, the blue is history, and the right-hand side is what our algorithms are saying you should order or not order, or what the demand's going to be. And from that, then you're going to make some orders. So if we, so we're looking at this, and we're seeing here that we actually are about to place an order, or we might place an order here. Is that past? That's probably past, I suspect, but you can have a look at that. But certainly, you know, if we want to change our forecast here so that we don't order some more, we can hit the edit button and then move down here and change and make an adjustment. And let's say for this one, we want to go down 50%, and then somewhere else maybe we'll up it 80%. I want to show you this because, you know, the display should now change to reflect that, which it has, and that then feeds on downstream into potential ordering processes and so on. So that's, and the other thing about this is that we're embedding the view for you inside the existing data from Odoo, and you can see what's gone on historically with it and so on. So that's one way of handling a single product, but we really need to look at how you handle lots and lots of products at a time. So let's go at this point to back to, well, it's actually what we're doing here is we're getting into the smart inventory section here. And first thing we're going to do is look at the forecast review. And for instance, if we, in here, you can see that we handle multiple locations for inventory. So we've chosen a location, and then you have the option of what your forecast characteristic or time horizon is. Do you want it to be a monthly view, a weekly view, and so on? And that gives you, if I update that, then, you know, I've got a lot of products in here, which is fine, but it's more than maybe I want to work with initially. So I've got the ability of filtering things down, and particularly, for instance, looking at lead time and saying I want only to look at products with a lead time that are greater than, let's say, let's get this out of here. Let's say it's 10 days. Okay, and then update. And that takes me down to, shows me that there are 7 products like that. What happened? The last time I saw this, It was because the internet connectivity went down. Oh, there it is. It's okay. It's back. Okay, so we're down to 7 records, but actually you can only see 3. The reason for that is those are the 3 that have a monthly time horizon. The others have different time horizons. But that lets you review your forecasts, in a systematic way and decide what you're going to move on and what you're not going to move on, and so on. And then let me just check. I've got my cheat sheet here. Make sure I'm not leaving anything. Well, I could, just depending on how I'm doing on time. Where am I? I want to get rid of this. Here I go. So I can update again, go to the full view, and I can make adjustments here to the forecast manually. Again, I can always override. This is critical. AI and machine learning is wonderful. It's certainly not infallible. So we allow people to make all kinds of changes based on upcoming inventories and so on. The other thing is, with your forecast here, the bottom here, you've got an option to export this to Excel, which you can do to share with other people in the organization, make sure that everything's working out okay. How are we doing on time? Getting close to 12 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to go fast here on the remaining ones. There's an investment report. I can adjust that too, but it tells you, based on your current purchasing over the next for the next 4 months, how much you're committed to spending. It gives you an overall budget, constraint view, and so on, and you could change your periods and again go back and change your filtering characteristics for that. And then we've got an overstock, understock report here. So 4 categories: understock items, overstocked items, items that are getting close to reordering points, if you want to look at that, items that are at the right level for now. And again, with any of these, you could decide that you need to create a purchase plan. So this is part of the purchase planning process. And then you could select all of them, which is probably overkill. You select a few, and you say add to purchase plan. And this is going to tell you this is okay. It's going to update the reorder points automatically, which is probably a good thing. And then in here you can see that we've got one item here with nothing on the order quantity. So let's edit that. Well, we can highlight it and see a little bit more of its history. But if I now edit and then go in and change, if I click on this, you'll start seeing that there's several vendors that you could choose from as well, which you might want to do based on lead time or cost. But we'll change that to 10 units, say, for now. And then we will load the products. And once, okay, hit the wrong button here. Just wait for that. And we might wait and wait. Oh, okay, we went back to the previous ones. I wanted to show you how you can generate requests for quotes and the options you have there to do it by vendor, by location, by single RFQ for each product, and you have all those capabilities. The other items I have here, which we're running out of time, I'm not going to get into for now, is how we classify, well, look at it briefly, how we classify different kinds of products. So systematically, we say that there's a limited number of products, but they have characteristics where demand changes are smooth, demand is intermittent, it's lumpy. So there's a taxonomy for that. And then on top of that, we overlay that with how expensive they are in terms of inventory levels and what sort of service level we want attached to each of those. And then we can also get into reordering rules. So you'll see here that each product, some of them have reordering rules, some don't. Again, I can narrow the scope down here and say, well, you know, I don't have a reordering rule for this. Let's see what we can, and this gives you an ability to, where am I? Automatically recalculate that, for which I'm going to need some help to go do that. But, so that's a quick view of the product. You can see there's a lot in there. We've tried to integrate it with Odoo to make it easy to use and manage your inventory accordingly. And I think, hopefully, we've given you a taste at least of all of these aspects of the product and the different pieces of functionality in that. And with that, I'll draw my presentation to a close and open up for any questions. And May, you may want to be ready for this.
So in your examples, all your inventory was all finished goods, but if you were in a manufacturing setting where you have like thousands of parts that you have to assemble into a good, does it track that, and how does that work in that setting?
Into a sort of bill of materials situation?
Yeah.
Okay. How or Hai, do you want to jump in on that? Just
Hello. Yeah, thanks for your question. So I think it's a very good question. Regarding, for sure that for the manufacturing, so you need to be able to handle a lot of raw materials. So for this, so with that one, I think our product can still be able to handle that, because we are trying for the first for the demand forecasting. You are able to we have the forecast engine at the back end. Can automatically generate the demand forecast for each of the raw material based on the demand of the material, not based on the BOM, the BOM or other things related to the manufacturer itself, but based on the demand of the raw material. So, and another thing is after you have the demand for the raw materials, so you can, so if you see at near the end of the demo, so David showed several, we have the analysis where we can say like the demand understock and overstock analysis. So in that so it's actually, that report is for the future, for the near future. So it's based on the forecast generated for your raw materials. So you can see like, okay, if it's at this it is the right time for you to purchase more for some of the raw materials, or or you are good with this amount of the raw material in your inventory. So, and with that, we have the David, can you please go back to our demo where we have the understock and overstock analysis?
Sure. Let's try and do that. Okay, so I think that's here.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you, no, that is for the purchase plan. Can you go to the reporting and go to understock and overstock analysis?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so from here you see that we have a button on the left, on the right corner, create purchase plan. And with that, create purchase plan is gonna automatically pick up all of the products with the understock risk. And you can choose if you have a lot of raw materials here, so you can just click on the checkbox on the top there, and the system gonna automatically choose all of the products and put all of these products into a purchase plan for you. And with that purchase plan, within the purchase plan, the system even do give you a better reference guidance for your procurements, which is like it's gonna recommend the order quantities. So how much, what quantity you should order for this raw material and for that material. Everything is automatic. So like if you have a lot of raw material, I don't think that it's going to be a problem with our system.
Hi, is the demand forecast an input into the system or an output? Like, at what point do you draw the line? Where, how far out do you need to be forecasting for the tool to work? Or is it building the forecast based off of all the AI that's being done in historical?
Okay, I'll have Hai contradict me, but it is built off of the data that's in the system, but it also allows you to, apart from manually override, there's options to import, say from Excel, a list of, a set of forecasts for specific products. Is that about right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say.
Hi. Just a question on the dashboard. In previous versions, you have to update the page to actually see the updates that were generated. For example, when a purchase order pushes through and the inventory needs to dispense products, then you have to actually see, not that part.
Not that one. Okay. So.
Go to the overview.
So, did you mean, let's have a look.
Where the locations are.
Okay. So this may be, where the locations are, then we probably want, let's go back here, because this is where you can
It's
choose.
more of the dashboard where you see all the locations and what work needs to be done, what products needs to be dispensed, for example. Just click on inventory.
Okay. Wait a second. Well, it's probably overview, right?
There we go. That page, usually you need to refresh the page just to see the processes that need to get done. Is that something that can automatically refresh? So you can put it like on a board to see what work needs to get done.
Good. Okay, good question. Hi. The answer is it refreshes. Okay. Anybody else before lunch? If not, thank you very much. Appreciate it.